America is on a high.
Can be anybody, young people, old people.
In Florida, every 2.5 hours, someone dies from an opioid overdose.
Where are the calls coming in from?
Everywhere. She shot up about an hour ago. It's unfortunate. He's probably a good kid.
As an opiate addict, you'll get whatever you can get your hands on.
My drug of choice is heroin.
Drug addicts caught in a web of addiction.
This is not a straight line to recovery.
When you see your mugshot, what do you think?
It wasn't me.
You're watching Chronicle, State of Addiction, with Tiffany Kenny and Mark Kelly.
Opioids have the state of Florida addicted.
The sun is not the only thing luring people here anymore.
The crisis is so out of control, Governor Rick Scott wants to declare a public health emergency.
It's an epidemic triggered by the explosion of pill mills. But after the clinics were forced to shut down, those pills became too expensive on the street. So people are turning to a cheaper high, heroin.
Opioid overdoses in Palm Beach County increased by more than 300% in just 5 years. Last year alone, 592 people died. We are at the epicenter of this crisis. Take, for example, what's happening in Boynton Beach. Since January, just 4 months, nearly 180 people have overdosed. 15 of them died.
My name's Hap Kroll. I'm a sergeant with Boynton Police Department. I've been here over 17 years. We have multiple overdoses here. We've had a few here, which used to be a very upscale apartment complex, and we've had them there too.
How big of a problem is that for you guys?
It's a huge problem. A lot of issues. We get multiple calls per day.
Where are the calls coming in from?
Everywhere. Pretty much every restaurant, every gas station, homes, hotels, everywhere.
It didn't take long before we heard the first overdose call of the day.
On Gateway, and we're maybe half a mile from there, unconscious on a bench.
All right, so we'll go check it out.
It should be one of these benches right here.
Oh,
and the
over
medics
there.
are already here.
Paramedics rushed the man to the hospital. Left behind,
So is that,
from inside his pocket,
oh my gosh.
Little plastic kit with a used syringe, had the spoon with the heroin residue on it. He had his lighter.
I mean, it's 1 o'clock on a Monday afternoon at a very popular shopping plaza, and he's out here.
Passed out on the bench. Right.
You see this a lot?
Too often. Way too often. No, it's very typical lately.
Man, I mean, that's pretty disturbing to see from someone who's not used to seeing it. I just kind of was like...
It's still disturbing. It's sad that so many individuals are turning to this for some reason, whatever the reasoning is. Today for him, right now, was okay, but it very easily could have been different. We may see him again sometime very soon.
Who's the average victim?
The majority of the overdoses are kids that have come down here for rehab, that are currently in the rehabilitation or the halfway houses, the supposed sober homes. Now, there are a lot of sober homes back in this neighborhood. There are a lot of sober homes everywhere.
Do you have sober homes that you are frequently called to respond to people who have overdosed?
Oh yeah, we had one that we responded to multiple times for fatalities and non-fatalities, multiple times.
it's so rampant, police have had to request more doses of a life-saving drug that can reverse the effects of an overdose.
The first batch was gone very, very fast.
I mean, isn't that so telling?
You'd think so. You'd really think so. You know, we've got a huge problem. We need to figure out a better way to combat the problem.
Cracking down on the dealers is part of the plan. We rolled up moments after a heroin bust turned violent.
We went to do a takedown on the vehicle, and he backed up, collided with an unmarked vehicle, and decided to go forward and hit me.
The suspect ramming this K-9 officer's SUV.
I was in the car. I was actually getting out. I had the door open, getting ready to step out when he came at me and collided the passenger side of the vehicle.
You're physically okay.
Yes, physically okay.
But that had to be pretty scary for a moment.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's not every day you get rammed and sideswiped by a criminal and then forced into a wall down there. So yeah, I mean, it was scary. It was aggravating, you know, all for a couple of dollars worth of heroin.
This kind of speaks to the desperation of what's happening, that they would do this.
Yes.
All for a few bucks.
They don't care who they hurt, who they sell it to, who it kills, or what they can do to get away from us. This was pretty desperate.
3 hours later, another call. A 21-year-old found by her boyfriend in the shower, passed out.
Oh, there she is.
Okay, and here she is coming out to the ambulance. There you go. Yep, that does not look promising.
What did they tell you right now?
Overdose. Definite overdose. She shot up about an hour ago. It's unfortunate. She's probably a good kid. She's probably a good girl. But this drug, when it gets you, it's terrible what it does to these kids. It's awful.
What was the story in there? What happened?
Overdose. They're here for a halfway house. She left a halfway house. They were going to go to rehab. And, then you get this. So he says, tomorrow's the day. Tomorrow's the day they're getting into the rehab, the halfway house. So, we'll see. With any luck, they'll make it there. Okay. And that ends another day in paradise. Welcome to South Florida. This is it. So,
Another shift over.
another one almost over. We're pretty close. Yep.
Man. The two people in my story who overdosed did survive that day, but their long-term success in treating their addiction is still an unknown.
The epidemic is so devastating. The Palm Beach County Medical Examiner's Office sent out an alarming tweet that read, "Thought there was a slowing down, but we have 10 drug overdose deaths today. Must be a bad batch of drugs out there. You've been warned."
There has to be a fundamental shift in how we view people who have a substance use disorder and how we support sobriety and not encourage relapse.
The medical examiners for Martin, St. Lucie, Indian River, and Okeechobee counties are still compiling the official total number of opioid deaths in their counties for 2016. But they tell us they already know they have a spike in overdoses.
And now we're going to introduce you to one of those families left behind in a struggle for answers. Just 9 months ago, a Treasure Coast couple lost their son to a drug overdose. His addiction cast a light on the epidemic that has taken thousands of lives.
Looks like Kyle Houston Jackson Broom. Say hi, everybody. Say hi, Grammy.
I miss everything, every day. This is a card from Kyle from my last Father's Day. One day I hope to be half the father that you've always been to me. One day I'll make you proud, you will see.
The memories are poignant for Kurt and Debbie Broom. It is all they have left of their son, Kyle.
14 strikeouts.
He had 14 strikeouts in one game, Jensen Beach Little League. Aww. He loved his baseball. We used to play it year-round.
Mrs. Hugs.
He's a good kid.
His smile.
Kyle!
Him not being there affects me every day, every hour of every day.
It does feel like a nightmare. Sometimes when you wake up, you think maybe it wasn't true.
Kyle's addiction to pain pills started soon after high school.
I guess he started snorting them, and then they move on and smoke them. And then when that doesn't work as well as they like, I guess they begin to inject them. I would say around 20 is when it got the worst.
Really bad?
About 20 years old.
And did you know it was as bad
No.
as it was?
No.
He had a very good way to mask it.
He still worked when he did those things.
By July of 2016, the Brooms had hoped Kyle was on the right track. He was forced to get clean after getting arrested.
When he got out of jail on July 12th, he was really looking forward to the future.
Yes, he was. He was excited about the future. He's going to get a state license for his contracting. But as soon as he got out and these people started calling, this whole plan went right out the window.
Just 3 days into his freedom,
I called Debbie and I said, I think Kyle's using again. And I got this sick, very sick feeling in my stomach, and we started to cry, and it started to unravel. This time at a very fast pace.
That was Friday. By Sunday, Kyle was gone.
I knew the minute the doorbell rang.
It wasn't good, that's for sure.
It was like walking in a dream, but
After a day spent with friends, Kyle died from a deadly combination of drugs.
It's surreal. I never dreamed anything like this could happen to us. We had such a good, tight family. We're not rich people, but we're happy people, you know, and there's a lot of love. But that means nothing if they get tied up in those drugs. We go for a walk, baby?
What do you want people to learn from Kyle's story?
that this could happen to anybody. Don't do it. Don't pick up the first pill. That's all it takes. Just one time.
The Brooms want tougher penalties for drug dealers. That may happen. Just last week, the Florida House unanimously passed a bill targeting drug dealers. If it becomes law and someone sells drugs to a user and that person dies, the drug dealer would be charged with manslaughter.
A Boynton Beach father also wants the people who dropped off his dying daughter held accountable. He's offering a $5,000 reward for information about the two people you see here who left his daughter at Bethesda Memorial Hospital in Boynton Beach earlier this month. At 2:30 in the morning, they drive up and pull her out. Seconds later, a nurse wheels the victim away on a gurney. Then the woman grabs the victim's purse out of the car. The only clue about who these two people are, what appears to be a name badge on the woman's shirt. She also may be wearing medical scrubs. The victim died of a heroin overdose. Scenes similar to those play out in local emergency rooms all across South Florida. Many people don't understand why or how people become addicted to drugs. Experts say it's a complex disease. Drugs change the way the brain works, making quitting seem almost impossible. In 2016, one Palm Beach County hospital reported 300 ER overdose visits in the first 3 weeks of November.
Bringing people back from the brink. That's the enormous challenge our paramedics, nurses, and doctors have when they face an overdose call.
You're seeing people in the extremes of life. You're trying to make sure that they're going to survive. So it's very stressful.
And the stress for Dr. Adam Lacey, who works side by side with Palm Beach County Fire Rescue, has only gone up as street drugs have gotten more addicting. Heroin, fentanyl, even powerful synthetics like carfentanil, which is an elephant tranquilizer. Dr. Lacey has seen the struggle firsthand.
A lot of times these are people that have been addicted for years. And so to stop using a product that you've been using for a long time, it's really tough.
Dr. Lacey says he's seen an uptick in patients rushed into his ER at West Boca Medical Center with problems breathing, small pupils, and confusion. All signs of an overdose.
We immediately bring them into a resuscitation bay, put him on a cardiac monitor, give him an IV, and try to administer an antidote as quickly as possible and protect their airway.
How long these patients stay in the hospital, Dr. Lacey says, depends on the case. Some will spend days in the ICU, while others can be helped in the ER using Narcan, a life-saving drug that reverses the effects of overdosing.
Narcan really works well. We see a quick response with that, especially with some of our heroin addicts.
Dr. Lacey says addiction doesn't discriminate. He's seeing people from all walks of life on the brink of losing their life over drug abuse.
These are citizens, so we care about them. We treat every patient the same, and we're just hoping for the best outcome for all people that come through our emergency department.
Another hospital, JFK Medical Center in Atlantis, is part of a pilot program that Palm Beach County Fire Rescue started just 4 months ago. Now, its goal is to get more addicts counseling and also medication that can help with withdrawal symptoms.
In January, overdose patients treated in the ER were given initial doses of Suboxone, and after they were released from the hospital, EMS went to their homes for 8 days to continue that medication. The patients were then transferred to the healthcare district for continued care and peer counseling, which really is equally important. I spoke with Houston Park, the man tasked with running this program, and he says 19 of the 22 people enrolled have already shown success staying sober since their overdose.
Coming up, sober home takedowns, people taking advantage of addiction, the way sober homeowners are selling patients to pocket cash. Plus, undercover in the war on opioids, the operations that led to more than 80 arrests on the Treasure Coast.